gotta mute my phone was already on mute. Look at me. I'm a
Aren't you a
professional.
professional?
Only took me 4 years. Hello, friends and fiends. Welcome to Bugs Need Heroes, the podcast about insect superpowers. Each episode, an artist and an entomologist team up to illustrate the inspiring abilities of insects by creating bug-themed superheroes. I'm Amanda.
I'm Kelly.
Producer Derek and Clementine are also here. Before we get started creating this bug-inspired hero, what's bugging you, Kelly?
Ooh, I don't have to go to work on Monday because my semester is over.
Oh yeah! Do. Does the new one start Tuesday then?
Oh God, no. Not till September. I do have summer.
It's
I'm
summer
like
break for
done.
you? Started
Yes.
in May? That's
Mhm.
wild. At time of recording, it is May.
It is May. It's May 3rd if anyone's keeping track today. Yeah.
So, wow, you've got a chunky time off, and you're gonna chase around roly polies, is my understanding.
Yeah, this summer I got a grant, which is really exciting. Grants are, I mean, this grant I will say it's through like my university's Urban
Yeah.
Coast Institute, so like, probably not as strenuous to get than outside grants, but still very
Don't
very
sell
proud,
yourself short.
very
Don't
proud
let
to
that
get it.
imposter syndrome get you. Dr.
Yeah.
Alan Grant wouldn't want you to question this grant.
Dr. Alan Grant, if only.
Dr.
Um,
Alan Grant is the one who hands out all the grants. I don't know if you know.
yes, he's the grant doctor. But yeah, so I've got 2 students working with me who will be paid for the summer as well, which is exciting. And we'll be out hunting some roly-polies and kind of seeing how their presence shapes the leaf litter composition in communities, how they shape other invertebrate communities where they're found, because our roly-polies here, at least in New Jersey, none of them are native. So we can
Really?
introduced.
Oh.
So we do
Are
have native
roly-polies
roly-polies, but not in this state.
are roly-polies a good indicator of how things are going? Because it feels like it would be. I feel like if I roll over a log and there's a roly-poly, I'm like, this place must be doing all right. Like, there is not littered with pesticide residue if there's a roly-poly chilling down here.
Actually, roly-polies are often studied for their ability to uptake heavy metals. So you will find them in some pretty gnarly spots.
You say that, and I am recalling something that Dr. Kite said. Okay, I'm back on board.
Yeah, shout out to Dr. Kite in our roly-poly episode. My friend and mentor, Dr. Scott Kite.
Terrestrial isopods. We love it, a roly-poly.
We
My
do.
bug adventure yesterday was we went to a place that was like having a grand opening, and there was all these decorative bushes around, and it reminded me strongly of Crime Pays But Binding Doesn't, because I was like, look at all these manufactured plants.
These ornamental garbage plants.
To be fair, they were mostly native plants.
That's good.
They were trying to do a native thing. But every single lavender bush had dozens of spittle bugs on them.
Oh,
dozens.
Really? We love the spittle bugs
the plant.
Here. What episode was that? I don't remember.
A while ago. It's a good one though. I like the character art for that one. But I was showing my kids, hey, you see these white foamy bits? These are spittle bugs. There's a bug in the middle. And this other 10-year-old comes over and is like, what do you mean there's a bug in the middle? And so I start telling him about, well, this is a spittle bug and it, whatever. And he just like grabs the like spittle dome and like digs through it till he finds the little, and I was like, well, let's not do that, because that's like his home.
You just destroyed that guy's house.
Yeah. Make sure we put him back on the same plant, please. That sort of thing. And he's looking at it, he's like, I thought this was an aphid. And I'm like, well, they're very similar looking, aren't they? Blah, blah, blah. And then eventually
Amanda's out there teaching the children.
To the children. And then he puts it back on the bush, as I requested of him. And he's like, what's the foam made out of? And I was like, you're not going to like my answer, sir. It's his pee-pee. You just touched all his pee-pee. You destroyed his pee-pee house, and he was like, and he like runs off to go wash his hands. But a little bit later, I heard him like telling his mom, there's spittle bugs in those foams. And if you get to the middle, there's a little green guy in there. And I was like, well, okay, he did destroy his house, but at least he learned what the bug was. All right. Fair enough.
And that's what the podcast is for, right?
I hope so. I just hope all the information I gave him. I didn't give him much information. I didn't like try to like spit out any family names or anything. I was like, it's a spittlebug.
Yeah, you
His
don't
home
have
was made
to.
of his pee-pee. And you touched it. Look what you did. Don't destroy his house because you'll
Pee
get pee-pee
House is
hands.
very funny though to think about.
Pee-pee house. So that was my bug adventure this week.
I love it. That's so exciting. Did you buy any plants? Would you make Joey proud?
I did not. Okay, I did not. But that being said, I do. My parents have native bleeding hearts in their front yard, and I'm gonna steal one of those native bleeding hearts and put it in my front yard because I don't think they get enough sun where they are in my parents' front yard. And I'm like, I'm just gonna move you. You'll be grateful in the end that I took you.
Are you gonna tell your parents, or are they gonna find out on the podcast?
Oh no, I already approved this.
It'd be great if your mom found out while listening to this episode.
There's a big hole in my front yard. No, I did approve it with her first. We've been on many bug adventures so far. Dare I say 99 bug adventures.
We have.
Because this is our 99th episode. If you look on Spotify, there's a
full episode.
Our 99th full topic. Topic. It's our 99th topic. And
how do you feel about that?
That's 99. A lot. I feel like, well, once we reach 100 is the number of episodes you need for syndication. Back when syndication on television was a thing. So we're about to make it, baby. We're about to get commercials. Not really. But I mean, that's a lot of episodes. People could listen to us one episode a day on their drive to work.
For 100 days.
That's for 100
I'm sorry.
days.
I'm sorry, everyone. That's a lot of us.
Sorry for your 3.5 months of us jabbering.
In your ear nonstop. 3.5
But you learn so many things about bugs and bug adjacent things.
Yeah, we hope
things,
so. That's
things that are very nearly bugs. We're still waiting to do a bird episode because I really want to do the birds that put on ants as armor.
Oh, they're birds that roll in ants, like crows will roll.
Yeah, there's like several kinds.
Yeah.
I think we could do an episode of like things that use bugs as their defense mechanism.
I mean, there's other bugs that use bugs as their defense mechanism.
That's true. I
think we've covered a couple of those.
Yeah, a couple of hey, do this for me. Okay. And as you know, everything in this world wants to live in a beehive. So
are we sharing what our 100th episode will be?
Yes, our 100. Oh, no, not our 100th.
Secret?
Keep
it a secret? Okay.
Keep them a little teaser for a little bit longer. It will be a very special episode.
Oh, Derek's saying we can share.
Oh, wow.
Amanda, do you want to keep it a secret?
We'll do. Well, seeing as we're recording 99, I think we can say that 100 will be we finally make Kelly watch A Bug's Life.
Yep, gonna watch it.
And then
make
talk
some
about the bugs. It's a great movie, and I'm very surprised you haven't seen it. As long as no one makes me watch Ants again. I at least have seen Ants.
I have not.
No interest. Bug's Life, great. That's where I fall on the paradigm between those two movies that came out very close together. But I got 99 problems and an itch ain't one. Tell me about the flea.
Yes.
Beautiful, majestic jumper.
The majestic flea. Everyone's best friend bug.
So my experience with fleas is mostly as a pet owner, like on a personal scale. My experience with fleas as an art historian is mostly plague related. But for me personally, we had a cat growing up that would every now and then get fleas, and then we'd have to treat her because she was an indoor-outdoor cat.
That's pretty common then.
Yeah, and she would not wear one of those stinky collars that they would put on cats.
The flea collars.
So it was pretty much just hey, we gotta rub her down with this collar. If you ever see the collar on her at the same time, just rub her with it. But every now and then she'd get, especially near the end of her life, when I guess it's pretty common that like the immune system for cats against fleas like deteriorates as they're not doing well, and the fleas will like swarm.
It's the immune system in general. You're a lot more susceptible to issues as your immune system declines.
Yeah,
as you age.
Or she like wasn't grooming in the same way anymore because she's an 18-year-old old lady. You know, those sorts of things. So every now and then she'd get like fleas near the end of her life. And for me personally, those suckers love an ankle. Like, if I'm ever to find a flea on me, it'll be on this juicy, juicy vein right here behind the, like, hump of my ankle. I don't know if that's a common experience, but that's what happens to me. Do you have
Well,
much experience with
probably
fleas?
about the height they can jump.
Oh, you
Not
know?
really.
Mm,
We had a border collie growing up, and she was an inside dog unless we were going for a run or a walk. She was my
right.
running partner through the Pine Barrens, which was wonderful. And she did wear a flea collar. So,
Mm.
yeah, I don't remember her ever
She
having fleas.
she didn't
Ticks,
get out of
yes,
it the way that,
plenty of
like,
ticks.
I hear ticks are bad this year. Have you heard that? I've
I'm
heard
in
that
New Jersey, so they're bad every year here.
uh, I've
New
heard that they're
Jersey is
going to be
like the
especially bad in,
stronghold
like,
for
the South.
ticks.
They're all
Amanda's
Yavuk.
doing Amanda's doing Italian hand gestures.
That's what I think of when I think of like Italian ones, not the pasta fingers. I don't know what these. I'm sure this has a name.
Pasta fingers.
Where they're like, this is some good pasta.
Oh.
Yes, chef's kiss. Mwah. That's what I think of. Open fist, just that's New Jersey to me. Having never been there.
Never been there.
Never been there.
You're only talking about the Italian population of New Jersey, and I'll let you know they're not the only people who live here. They're just
I'm sure
the
they're not.
stereotype. That's kind of the stereotype. Yeah, we don't all talk like that. That is New Jersey Italians.
All right, fair enough.
God love them. They're great. They're part of our community here, but they're like it's different. You
Yeah,
know.
that's fair. As a New Jerseyan, how do you feel about people saying that New Jersey is just a suburb of New York? It's just
It's
another of the boroughs.
because I live in a city that kind of is another suburb of New York. It's a little bit weird, but
Yeah, you're like seeing New York right now.
I'm
You're
like
looking out that window, like,
looking.
there it is. There
Actually,
she
my
is.
I'm gonna open my window a little bit right now because
You need to get
so
the
we don't
beat
have
of
a
the
guest
city
and I
right
can
now.
have some light.
Yeah.
All right.
You need to key in on what the people are up to.
Yeah, if I lean over like this, I'm looking at New York City.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just a river away. A very,
You're just
you
around
know,
the river bend from New
just
York.
yes, me and Pocahontas. Just
You and Oliver from Oliver and Company.
and over.
Billy Joel is singing about New York City right now.
I did
Um,
see Billy Joel a couple years ago and he was fantastic.
he loves New York City.
He does. But yeah, so in New Jersey we do have a really high tick population. Um and probably I would imagine yeah, because we were talking about ticks briefly. But fleas, yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with fleas, although I have a vivid memory of when was being babysat, I think. And my babysitter, I'll just say her first name was Erin because I don't remember her last name anyway. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Took me and my brother, or maybe it was just me, to this house, and I don't know what the deal was. Because I just remember there was nothing in the house. It was just carpets. Maybe she was looking to buy it, or it was a friend's place, and it was infested with fleas. Like
Oh.
you would like step in and they would be jumping everywhere, and I have a real
Oh,
strong memory of that. I don't remember, I don't think we got fleas or anything. I just remember this house. I have no idea how old I was. Maybe like, I don't know, 5 or 6,
yeah, old enough to
something
remember,
like
or not
that.
old enough
Yeah.
to know any of the information
Yeah.
surrounding the
Zero
situation.
information, just beige carpets, beige walls, and a floor to floor flea infestation. Um, and I remember being both fascinated and a little bit frightened of what was going on in that house. So, babysitter Erin, if you're out there, if you hear this
I
podcast,
hope you purchased a vacuum at some point,
I hope you're good.
babysitter Aaron.
I don't remember why we were there or what was going on, but she was a very kind babysitter, so I don't have any other like bad memories or anything. Just zero context flea house. That's all I got.
So are fleas one of the creatures that specializes on human, or do they specialize per animal? Like, is there like I assume that cat fleas and dog fleas are the same flea, but I've been wrong before.
Not the same flea.
You see, this is why I'm on the podcast to learn about fleas. So there's a cat flea and a dog flea.
There's a
So I
cat
don't.
flea, there's a dog flea, there's a human flea.
I
Um,
can get the fleas then. Oh,
there's the
horrible news.
tropical rat flea, which is our like plague the plague flea, which used to be
Plague
called
flea.
the Oriental rat flea, and we don't use terms like that anymore. So now it's the tropical rat flea. There are actually 2,200 described species of flea. I know I was also surprised to learn there were that many fleas.
Okay, so if my dog gets fleas, do I need to be worried about my cat getting fleas if I'm a multi-animal home?
Yes,
Or
they can
are
bite
they
other mammals. They're
okay,
not
they okay.
really specific.
They're not
Not that
like
specific.
I only drink canis blood and I'll die on any other kind. They're
In North America, the flea that's on your dog is probably going to be the cat flea, even though we do have
oh,
dog fleas.
interesting.
The
So
cat
there's
flea
like
is the
kind of
most
a
common.
okay. Interesting. And so are the fleas, you said that the other one was called the tropical flea. Is that an invasive flea that now has spread across civilization because we all talk to each other and spread fleas to each other?
It is, yeah, it is kind of found everywhere now.
Mm.
And we'll talk a little bit about like plague later. Are you talking to me about plague or am I talking to you about plague? Are we doing a double
Either
plague?
my my understandings of plagues are mostly art history based, which means I mostly know about the European one just because that's how art history in America is taught. Unfortunately, it's very Eurocentric.
Yeah, of
I
course.
do know a little bit about a San Francisco plague, and I
Oh,
do know a little
okay.
bit about some other things.
Well,
But
I'm excited for you to tell me some plague history. I can tell you
some
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 plague
plague things.
biology, and then we'll do some plague history.
All right, excellent. First, let's talk about I think the thing people want to know about the flea. How what them legs do? I guess is the question. What them legs do?
Let the legs
Because
do. So
they
let's
be jumping is my understanding.
they it do be like that sometimes with them jumping. Or it's
They're in the
so
club. They're jumping.
so fleas, let's talk a little bit about their general description. We usually go over that a
Yeah.
little bit. We all know they're pretty small. They're about 3 millimeters in length max, which is like an eighth of an inch. Teeny
They're kind
tiny
of
little guys.
aphids with legs, honestly. Like
Actually,
kind
like
of have
real
that.
jumpy legs.
Yeah, like just like if you had to if an aphid was like I gotta be able to jump here, and he just like
Yeah.
went hard on leg day every single day. He'd
Every
eventually
day
come
is
out as the
leg day
flea.
for a flea. No, what's interesting, so if you're picturing an aphid, aphids have pretty round, almost like teardrop shaped plump little bodies.
Yeah.
Fleas don't. Fleas are what we call laterally flattened. So they're flattened from side to side. They're kind of
Yes.
squished in.
Yeah, they are very flat.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, and that makes them very difficult to grab
Yep. Yeah.
unless you're using your little pinchy little fingernails like I was as a kid.
Getting them. Yeah,
Getting them.
it's amazing. So they have these laterally flattened body, and they have backward pointing bristles and spines along their bodies, and this helps them to move through dense fur and feathers. You can't be round and plump and get through a bunch of fur, right? It just isn't going to work.
He's flat Stanley'd is what he's
He's
done.
flat Stanley. Yes. Did your kids do flat Stanley?
I love Flat Stanley. I think Flat Stanley. I think it's so funny how many adventures you can go on where you're like, surely he must have gone on all the adventures that being
Everything.
flat would be helpful for. And then he finds another door to slip under. He's Flat Stanley. You know, my mom in particular loved Flat Stanley, so
My our
Flat Stanley
nephew,
lives on.
when our nephew was a little guy, he sent, I think he like sent Joe a flat Stanley, and
Uh-huh.
we like took pictures, but like
Yeah.
around the city. But what was really funny was that his family did not know Joe had a girlfriend at the time. So I'm like out there helping him take these photos.
Who's this blonde stranger in all of Joe's pictures?
I was just not in the photos, but I would help set
That's
them
fine.
up. It was really
Oh, so
cute.
you were like fully a secret agent of
I was
Flat
a
Stanley.
secret. I was a secret girlfriend for about 2 years. 2 years of being a secret girlfriend.
Joseph, how dare you? How dare you hide my shining star? So
It's fine. It's fine now.
a, a flea has become thin this way,
Hmm.
in a way that a bed bug has become thin this way.
Yes, yes, dorsally instead of laterally or dorsal ventrally. But yeah,
But I assume to basically the same purpose: get in tiny spots.
Yep, tiny spots, moving through fur, moving through dense feathers if they happen to be a
Okay,
flea on a
lines get
bird.
through little spaces better than circles.
Bristly bodies, so that
Mhm.
as they're moving through, they get kind of hooked onto the, it's hard to demonstrate this, but you know what I mean, like hooked onto
Yeah.
the fur as it's moving, almost like little grappling hooks.
Oh,
Really
oh,
specialized body plan.
mole action here. Okay, that is very interesting to me that they would choose to
Yeah.
go this way instead. Because I feel like this way makes sense, but then when you think about being the size of a flea, I'm shrinking myself down mentally, and I'm standing in the forest of hairs.
Mhm.
They're all huge. It would make sense to be tall and thin so I could get through
Yeah,
the.
I think
Yeah,
laterally flattened makes a lot of sense when you're moving
yeah,
through dense animal fur. Because humans, we can get fleas too, but our hair is not
yeah.
really de as dense. Even on our head, I would say is probably
Mm,
not as dense
I've
as an
I've
animal.
met some fellas that could be infested with fleas. Definitely, some chest hair that is nothing but fleas.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I've certainly met some. I mean, I am in New Jersey. Those Italian men have pretty
We're
dense
back. We're
dense
back.
hair. Looping it back. But yeah, so they're just kind of like squished guys and they move through fur, through hair and fur, but um they don't live permanently attached to the host. So adults will
Right.
jump on and feed and often spend like most of their time in bedding or near carpet or animal
Mm.
nests. They don't really want to be on us for any longer than they have to be. And by us, I mean
Oh,
mammals
really?
or
Okay, so they're in
hosts.
and out. I
They
assumed
should
that they
be,
would stick
yeah.
around. They're not like a head lice where they're just living on your head the
No,
whole time. They're not
no,
going
no, no.
anywhere.
They're in and out. They come
Mm.
on to feed on blood and then they're done.
Does that make
Um,
them harder to get rid of as an infestation then?
ugh,
Because like a
infestations are, yeah.
crazy because they you have to get every single one. I assume.
So talking about infestations. So yeah, they're not colonial. They're not bees. They're not ants. They don't make
Hmm.
large nests. They're not even particularly gregarious, like cockroaches will come together or
Yeah.
ladybugs in the spring
Hmm.
will come together. Uh, it just happens that they breed in huge numbers. So infestations become enormous because of this sort of rapid reproduction cycle. Female fleas begin laying eggs within about 1 to 2 days after they take their first blood meal. So she hops on your cat or your dog or you, she takes a meal, she hops off, and she's ready in a couple days to make eggs. So one female cat flea can make around 13, on average, 13 and a half eggs per day. So that's, and then some produce around 20 on the higher end.
I mean,
And it ends up that one female cat flea can lay 600 eggs in her lifetime. So just continue, and they can just continuously lay after blood, after being blood fed.
right, right, and it's not just one flea. Pretty soon you've got okay. So even if you had one, you start with one. This is how math
Mhm.
works. Are you ready for me to explain math to you?
Yes, please.
You
I'm not a
you get
mathematician,
one.
I'm a biologist.
I'm not either. Girl, you know I took those required math courses for my degree and I bounced. I said, goodbye, math. Never again. I'll see you again when I teach my children math. See ya. Um, okay, so you get one. One little vector, little guy. She's there. She lays her, we'll say 13 eggs. But each one of those 13 eggs are also going to lay 13 eggs. I'm already in the hundreds with only one
Yes.
generation. That's crazy. And mommy is still laying eggs.
And
So
she's
really
still laying eggs.
I got 14 fleas making eggs now. And then each one of those 14 eggs is
It's,
that's crazy. That's exponential.
yeah,
Don't like
it's
that.
really, really quick. So once she lays these eggs, right, she's got all these, we'll say 13 to 20 eggs per day. Um, it takes maybe 20 days for them to become a larva. And if the
Okay.
conditions are right, that larva can pupate in, they become a pupa, and then their pupa can hatch in either a week-ish, or
Mm.
what's really horrible, they can hang out dormant for months. Like months,
No.
just sitting in your carpet or in your dog bed or wherever, they happen to be. And then the infestation starts all over again when they hatch, when the
Oh my
conditions are right.
gosh. You know something? I've never ever thought about a flea
Mm,
having a larval stage or a
right?
pupa stage. I only ever think about the adults.
Do you remember what we call it when they do egg, larva, pupa, adults?
That one's a full metamorphosis,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Gold star, Amanda.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I
Right to
just think
them.
instar is more fun to say. I just think having instars is like
They
it's
they
more
still
leveling
have
up.
they still have instars. They'll still like go through a few instars as larvae, but then
I
they
just think
pupate.
that's like, oh, he's a level 3 instar. Makes him sound like he's really going places, you know?
He's really got his stuff together. It's
He's really moving up in life. Yeah, how tiny the larva must be. Although the
uh
larva, something we've seen over this podcast is that the larvae tend to be bigger
sometimes they can be bigger than adults, yeah.
than adults because they have to use that energy. They need more energy stored up so they can
Become
become
a
an adult than
slightly
the
smaller
actual
adult.
size. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. But I've never even thought to look for flea larvae anywhere. You know what I
I
mean?
don't think I've ever seen a flea
Yeah,
larva.
yeah, no.
They're like white. They're white and kind of grubby looking, kind of
They're
worm-like.
larva looking.
Yeah.
They look like
A
larva.
larva is a larva
I've
is
like
a
grossed
larva.
myself out now thinking about like shifting through someone's hair and being
And
like, "Oh
then
yeah, you've got flea larva in here."
or
Somehow,
eggs.
somehow it's fine. I don't know why that is, but
They really like so the larvae don't they try to avoid light because they need
mm,
to, if when you're in the light you're vulnerable to being eaten by something. So they really get in the carpet and between, like between the wall and the carpet. That's
yeah,
where the
yeah.
that's where the carpet beetles come
We
from
found
in
that
my
with bed
apartment.
bugs as well, as it feels like it was, they're in the crevasses. That's where
Yeah.
they're hanging out.
And they'll just hang out there for quite amount of time. And like I said, it could be a couple months. They're waiting, so they're waiting. The pupa have like I said, about a weekish minimal pupal time. And then they're really waiting for some warm body to come by and let them know that there's food available. And then they will emerge as adults and feed, and then we get the whole thing again. But what's interesting is the larvae, if it wasn't gross enough that they're just fleas, right? They feed on something called flea dirt. Have you heard the term flea
No,
dirt
I've
before,
heard
Amanda?
they're for, especially with like check your animal for flea dirt, that sort of thing. And it's my understanding that it's the defecation of the
Hmm.
adult fleas.
It's basically dried blood poop. And the
Ugh.
larvae are looking for that because they eat a lot of that too. So it's this cycle. It's this cycle of adults feeding on
They
blood,
they they don't just they don't
creating
have the decency to
creating
eat my
flea
blood
dirt
once. They eat my blood twice.
twice.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, at least they're recycling, I guess. I guess I'll give them that.
They're very
Efficient.
environmentally friendly, the fleas.
Definitely. Well, actually, as we talk about more things of flea do, we might find that they are environmentally friendly, depending on your point of view.
But it's just this really, yeah, it is this strange cycle of eating blood poops, making more fleas, and they just reproduce so quickly. That's why we have to worry about things like disease, right? So fleas
Yes.
are, of course, we call them a medically important insect, uh,
Oh,
which
medically
makes them
relevant, eh?
which makes them sound good, but it's not. It's the opposite. If when an insect is medically important, it's never good
Oh,
news.
really? Okay, so when you get bit by a spider whose venom can really affect you,
Like a
is that
black
considered
widow that's
a
medically
medically important?
important or medically significant
Yeah.
arthropod. Yeah. Yeah, it's never for good things. So,
You're never
so
like, orcas are medically significant because they improve water quality wherever they go. It's always like
because they
they're
sink your
medically
yacht.
significant because they'll sink your yacht, and then you're just left in the ocean. I've been on an orca deep dive lately. I've been
Orca kick.
in my on my orca life lately. I was an orca girly, just to let you know. I was an orca
Oh,
girly.
okay.
Um, Keiko, the whale who played Free Willy. I'm sure we've talked about this on the podcast before, but Keiko lived at the Oregon Coast Aquarium for about 2 years, and
Oh, yeah.
Free Willy and the orca from Free Willy being in my state, I'm imprinted on by orcas. I love orcas. But I've been on kind of like a reintroducing myself to the orca life lately. 10 ecotypes, uh, the genetic differences between them fascinate me. The
The
cultures,
cultural
some,
differences I
oh
love
yeah,
between the
the way that
pods.
some will do this action, some will do this act. The fact that they can teach each other things is like so cool. I don't know.
So, Amanda,
White Gladys,
I'm gonna propose something to you as an orca girly. So
a
this
girly.
podcast is it's Bugs Need Heroes, but we often talk
Hmm.
about other things that need heroes as well. We've talked about
Yes.
plants, cats. Would you like to do an Amanda episode about orcas? Would that make
Oh
you
my
happy?
gosh, I would love to. I love orcas so much. Orcas are so cool.
I would
Yeah.
love to hear you do a deep dive on orcas. I think we should
Well,
actually do more episodes that are like other animals need heroes too.
yeah,
And
that's true.
why
We
not start
should
with
do more.
orcas?
Now that we've done 100 bugs, now we need to open the gates to other
Can open
things
the
that need
gates.
heroes. We've already played fast and loose with the term bug.
So
Maybe
keep
we
that
need
in
to go.
your back pocket,
Yeah,
and we'll
they're so
discuss.
cool. They're so neat, and they're so smart. We don't give them enough credit for how smart they are. Um, and we shouldn't keep them in aquariums. Just so everyone knows where I stand on that. I don't think we should keep orcas. I think they're too smart. I think we can't do it.
Candies.
I think you've.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll
Anyway,
go
we
back.
can talk about orcas another time. I want to
Some
save some of my orca facts.
save it for the orca episode. So medical importance. Fleas can transmit pathogens and parasites. They very commonly transmit tapeworms, the canine
Really?
tapeworm. Yeah, oh yeah.
I didn't think
Uh,
tapeworms were small enough to be in a flea.
their eggs are really tiny, like really teeny tiny.
Really interesting.
And they can transmit this tapeworm, the dog tapeworm, to cats and dogs. And I found one study in China where it was transmitted to a human. So
Hate that
not
news.
great.
Hate that news. Mm.
No.
As we live in close proximity to our beautiful pets, we are
Right.
unfortunately taking on some of their struggles.
Yeah, we
Uh,
do, and when you live near with your animal so closely, it happens, right?
yes. Well, we're in this together, me and my cat.
Fleas can also cause severe allergic reaction in cats and dogs because of their saliva. Their saliva can be,
They
um,
can be allergic to the saliva of a flea, which
yeah,
does sound like an ingredient in a witch's brew, by the way.
flea
This
saliva.
the saliva of a flea.
I add it to
Um,
my smoothie every morning just for that extra
just a little
kick.
bit of yes. That would be horrible to be allergic to flea
Well,
saliva. Like, not only has it now bit me and I'm itchy, but
but now
also
you're
I'm allergic to it, so now I'm
it's just
double itchy.
worse. So
But
producer
you have that
Derek
with
is
mosquitoes, don't
yeah,
you?
has reminded us that I'm
Yes.
allergic to a certain species of mosquito, Aedes albopictus, the Asian tiger mosquito. I am allergic to its saliva, and it causes huge welts on my body when I get bitten by one.
It also, I don't know,
Overexposure is what
it
caused
feels a
it.
little weird that a bug has saliva to me. I don't know why I don't think of a bug as having saliva,
They've got
like a wet
salivary glands.
mouth. But yeah, they must. And we've talked about it being important in several several things. Like the velvet worm has cool, like, I've changed my saliva,
Oh man,
So
I forgot all about velvet worm. We've had
oh,
so many
she's a beaut.
episodes.
Blah, blah, blah. And we've had 99 games.
God. Oh, my
I
brain
don't blame
is
you if you don't remember every bug we've done, just because we've done so many now.
sometimes I'm like, oh, did we cover that bug? And it turns out we did. I just have no
I was watching
recollection of
something the other
covering
day,
it.
and they were like, "Oh, look at this Dobson fly! Isn't it cool? This Dobson thing." And it's like, they show chomp 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 chomp, and I'm like, "That's cool." Wait, I think we did that one.
Yeah.
So if there's a bug you think we haven't covered, don't forget that you can always email
Send
us and
us.
say,
Send
"Please do
us.
this bug," and we
Also, I
will check
think
our list to make sure we haven't done it.
email us what your favorite bug was. We're like hitting 100 episodes. What was the favorite
Yeah.
bug for
Is
you
there a
guys that we
theme you
covered?
like? Do you
I'd
like
love
the
to
ones
know.
that are people eaters, or do you like the ones that are helpful in your garden? We want to know
Helpful
so we can steer that way.
or the weird ones.
Yeah, you like the weird boys.
I mean, I
You
think
like the
fleas are turning out to be a little more interesting than I think I was originally
oh, really?
thinking they were going to be. Um, so yeah, so they also spread bacteria associated with cat scratch disease or cat scratch fever.
Scratch
Um,
fever. Donna.
and flea-borne spotted fever. But I think what we're probably the most
Mm.
the most common thing we're getting to here about is the plague, right? So
The plague.
the tropical rat flea. Um, let's see. I was gonna try to pronounce that genus. Actually, I think I can. Xenopsilla chiopsis or chiopus. Yeah. Sometimes the names are hard for even me, and I've been pronouncing bug genus and species names
Right.
for a very long
It's
time.
a George Lucas problem. I can write it, but I can't say it.
Sometimes I've never heard them out loud, so having to say them on the podcast, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I've only read them. I like read them in papers and hear them in my head. But yeah, so Xenopsilla chiapis is the tropical rat flea. It is responsible for transmitting the bacterium Yersinia pestis, which is plague. And what's interesting about the plague, and this is including the Black Death, this is all the bubonic plague, is it's one bacterium that causes several different types of plague. And how that works is wherever what part of the body that plague enters or settles in is what type of plague you get. So yeah, yeah, that was
They're
really
named after presentation, not after like the
Mhm.
actual little bug that's in you.
Yeah. So for example, the bubonic plague is bacteria that travels through the lymphatic vessels,
Yeah.
and the septicemic plague is when bacterium enters the blood, but it's the same bacterium. Just
Interesting.
causes
So it just has a different
different.
effect
Mhm.
depending on where it gets you. Because I know the bubonic plague is known for like your lymphatic, like you said, the like
It,
under the arm
under the arm
welt.
boils, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really horrible. What a horrible way to.
And I think of it every single time that I like shave my armpits and I like get like a ingrown hair. I'm like, oh no,
Do you have the plague?
that bubonic plague.
The plague still exists. We get plague
A certain amount of people
breakouts
get it
all
every
over the
year.
world. Yeah, all over the world every
Like,
year, different types, but bubonic, that lymphatic plague still exists as well. Uh,
it's
a
a lot
really
more survivable now though than it was
yes, yeah.
back in the day. Nowadays they're like, hey, you got bubonic plague. We gotta put you on the bubonic plague regimen. They don't just like throw you in a sick pit to die. When you see it on TV, I feel like it's always coming from like a prairie dog thing. Like, oh, I went out and I camped in the desert and I saw a cute little prairie dog. And then Dr. House is like, yeah, and he gave you the plague. Oh, you
Plague.
idiot.
Oh, Dr. House, what a timely reference.
I love House. I know it's like bad. Like, it's not, but I love it. But
I was
so
just
that's what
watching
I've seen.
the Night Manager, and Hugh Laurie is in
Oh,
that.
yes.
And with Tom
Yes.
Hiddleston, it's excellent, but it's really hard to see Hugh Laurie and not just think of
Yeah.
Dr. House.
He grew a big beard to try and pretend that
Yeah.
he wasn't just
Yeah.
Hillary. And you're like, I know it's you under there, Dr. House. And it's so funny that as Americans, our reference of him is Dr. House, even though he had like a whole
He's like a
very
distinguished
successful
British actor.
career
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Oh,
Like a whole Fry, like Fry and Laurie's very good. If you've never seen Fry and Laurie, please do look it up. Um, but yeah, that's my understanding is that like prairie dogs have it,
yeah, prairie
and that
dogs
sometimes
here.
a certain amount of people will get it from prairie dogs.
And other things from other parts of the world, rats and fleas and the whole thing. But it's amazing to think that we still have all these plagues are just around.
Well,
And
it's also one of
this
those things
didn't just happen, hundreds of years ago.
hundreds of years. It's also one of those things that people misunderstand how common the bubonic plague was, just because we, again, Eurocentric history hear about, oh, the Black Death, oh, the plague, it had this cycle that came through every now and then. But when it wasn't cycling in Europe, it was cycling in Asia. When it wasn't cycling in Asia, it was cycling other places. So, like, in many ways, bubonic plague is like happening somewhere
Yeah.
in history at some point,
Can you
somewhere.
can you tell us some of the history about plague?
So some of the things I know about plague, again, I'm coming at this from like an art history perspective, is the bubonic plague is like directly responsible for the conditions in which the Renaissance was able to spring up. Because unfortunately so many people died of the plague that it like deeply impacted the economic systems of speaking again of just Europe. Because I think it's like up to like a third, maybe even slightly more than a third of people died, which like you can't just lose a third of your workforce
Yeah.
and expect the economy to be the same. And so it really gave the like worker, the serf class, a lot of power because each one of them was now 1/3 more powerful than they used to be, unfortunately. So they were able to like negotiate a lot better wages for themselves and like kind of take down some serf um like policy stuff, like the systems that were very exploitive. Some of them fell apart. And that allowed for things like, hey, let's talk about like art and science and all these things that like the Renaissance is known for, is kind of because when you pay people better, they have the time to go and do those other things. And then the Renaissance was a huge deal for a long time, and a lot of our modern stuff owes a lot to the Renaissance. That's when you stop getting art as a craft and start getting art as an art form, because up until then, I've spoken about this before, you would have like art houses where it was like, oh, this is a craft. I'm going to go the way that you hire someone to like come and landscape your garden. You could hire someone to come and paint you a painting. And it's not till Renaissance that you start to get the like the very idea of, I don't want a painting. I want a Michelangelo painting. I want a Da Vinci painting. I want a Raphael. I want this specific guy and his proteges to be the one to paint my painting.
And you
And so you start to get
do that through other people, right? Like it wasn't just Michelangelo, it was Michelangelo and like 20 dudes.
right. Yeah, he's just the CEO of the company known as the art house of Michelangelo. And he'd have his proteges, and you might it might hire him to paint something, and you get his buddy to paint it, that sort of stuff. But the idea of art history is also from the Renaissance, mostly because one guy was like really obsessed with Michelangelo and was like, I want to write down his story and everyone's going to know how great he is and how he's overcome so much adversity to become Michelangelo. And Michelangelo was just like a curmudgeonly jerk to him the whole time. Unfortunately, he was like not a nice dude. But like that sort of stuff. And then you start to get like, not just like Paris silks, but like this silk that is like specific to this one dude, this one place, this one kind, So it really changed how we look at
Pretty
like
amazing.
craft. Yeah. Because so many people were no longer around. Unfortunate. Several times. But the one big one that we think of is the one right before the Renaissance. So 1350, I want to say, is when
And it
that
wasn't
happened.
we didn't just have plague in Europe, right? Didn't we had a plague here?
So we did have a plague here in San Francisco. And there's little ones. Like we said, a certain amount of people go out and get prairie dogged every year. Unfortunately, that does mean the bubonic plague. So, like you said, they formerly known as the Oriental flea, now the tropical flea. And the reason why we don't use terms like Oriental flea is specifically because it has some very deeply racial connotations, right? And we're trying to not do that in science. Unfortunately, that sentiment did not exist at the turn of the century in San Francisco, which, if you know anything about San Francisco, you'll know that it's one of the big places where Chinese immigrants would come into the United States, like and seeking work and those sorts of things. Keep in mind that the Chinese Exclusion Act is like not. I'm trying to remember when that one was enacted, but like not long after this. I don't want to say because of this, but it is probably part of that conversation. That basically a boat comes to San Francisco, and a couple of the crew members are definitely suffering for bubonic plague, right? And they're like, hey, you got to quarantine. You can't get off this boat, blah, 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 blah. And then they count everybody up and 2 people are missing. And they're like,
Boy.
those 2 might have bubonic plague, and they are now in San Francisco. And unfortunately, in Jaws, when the mayor of the town is like, we can't close down, it'll be bad for business.
It's the 4th of July.
It's the 4th of July. They're a beach town that needs to have the business, right? And unfortunately, as the bubonic plague starts to take root in San Francisco and killing mostly people in Chinatown, because of that's where the people went to.
That's where it started. Yeah.
The reaction to that was just kind of to say, well, it's Chinatown's fault and they can deal with it, basically. So they were quarantined in Chinatown, but no one else was, like, they purposely made sure no one else knew what was going on. Didn't tell anybody, didn't alert anybody, all those things. So you're living in San Francisco and you have no idea that the bubonic plague is 2 blocks away, right?
Oh God,
Well,
that's horrifying.
as you can guess, that
It was a
doesn't
real
work.
Jaws moment. Yeah.
Very Jaws. And when the people in the know start saying, "Hey man, you gotta close down San Francisco. You can't, The reason they cite is, but it'd be bad for business if people knew about the bubonic plague. It's like, yeah, dude, but it's the bubonic plague.
It's probably worse for business if all
Hey
your
man.
clients die.
Exactly. And like eventually the other parts of the country start to hear wind that, like, hey, the bubonic plague is in San Francisco, which is like a huge port town, right? Things are coming through San Francisco. So they start like refusing to do trade deals with California because they're like, no, man, you've got the plague. They start avoiding it like the plague. And eventually there's kind of a initial wave and then it dies down. And they're like, well, we solved it then. It was only like 200 people from Chinatown died. It's fine. And then there's a second wave that starts with the death of 2 people who are not from Chinatown.
And suddenly we care.
And suddenly,
look at that.
Suddenly we started to care about making sure the bubonic plague didn't spread in San Francisco. And I think another 100 people die or so.
Wow.
So, the first sniff you have of bubonic plague, please close it down.
Yeah, shut it down.
Like, if there is a shark in the water that is actively eating people, you need to shut it down. I'm just saying. The sharks be eating people. The bubonic plague be killing you. And like we said, fortunately, modern medicine is a lot more effective against bubonic plague now. And bubonic plague is not the death sentence it once was.
Yeah.
Depending
on what country you're in. If you're in a poorer part of a developing nation, you might still not make it through. But here in the US, in Canada, producer Derek is making a good point that the pretty racist quarantine procedures that were put in place in San Francisco, of course, didn't address that rats don't care about your quarantine procedures.
Yes, exactly.
Rats be ratting.
And the thing is, they thought it was from rats at the time. They knew it was from rats at the time. They thought it was the rats themselves. They would.
Yeah, they didn't know it was the fleas. They thought it was the
fleas. Interestingly, there's on the other side of this, Kelly. There is some debate about who like discovered it was bubonic plague that was a bacterium that could be like found in, oh look, I've zoomed in and now I can find the bubonic plague inside
microscope.
Because so many people were trying to figure out what was going on with the bubonic plague all at the same time, and they all kind of made the same discoveries within like a year of each other. And so there's like some debate about who discovered it first. That's why you come down to like who published first. But that has its own problems. Blah blah blah.
Charles Darwin.
Yeah, there's
hello.
Like hello, knock knock. Here you are. But yeah, so there's like several scientists all at the same time who are like publishing the same thought of like, hey, we think it's in here. We think it's in the fleas. We think we can autopsy the rat and see if it had the plague or not. That sort of stuff. So yeah, deeply interesting to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I just quickly Googled
the history is fascinating.
Survivals, but yeah, I think it's one of those things that you think is like an old timey disease, bubonic plague. But please don't go around kissing prairie dogs and touching fleas because there might be bubonic plague in there. And plus, bubonic is fun to say.
Well, I mean, it's because of those like introduced rats, and the fleas don't just stay on those on the rats that were brought in with plague, right? The fleas will move to native rats.
Well, like you said, they and then we get
native a native source or of plague here in the U.S. as well. So that's just how it works now.
I forgot.
History is fascinating.
One of the things they did this both in Europe and they did it in San Francisco too, which was because they thought it came from rats and not the fleas on the rats. They started a kill the rats and we'll pay you for dead rats campaign, right? unfortunately, this only increases the spread of bubonic plague because when you kill a rat, all the fleas that are on it leave that rat.
They go to people. Yeah,
They
or a
go to
cat or a
people, the
dog.
people
Yeah.
who are collecting the dead bodies of these rats. So you're like, oh, good, I found it. I killed this rat. I'll go pick it up. And all of the
Ugh.
fleas are like, oh, sweet, a warm host body to jump onto. So unfortunately, killing the rats only increased the spread of
Makes
the
it
plague.
worse.
It's like the whole, we'll pay you for your cobras. Oh no, now we have a bunch more cobras. So yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, killing the rat. I mean, I can't really blame him for that one. They thought it was the rats. They thought it was the rats. Turns
Oh
out it was the
man.
fleas on the rats. And there's that rumor that the reason why witches were feared is because they didn't get the bubonic plague because they had cats on the property. But now that's like a little bit debunked because if it was from
Yeah.
the fleas, not the rats, but
They would
of
be on
down
the
rat
cats.
population, they'd be on the cats. Like you say,
Yeah.
the flea's not very picky about what mammalian blood it's drinking, obviously. Do they feed on any reptiles or anything? Or are they strictly like,
I don't
give
know.
me that
There's
warm blood?
22,000 species. I'm
And
not
there's got
sure
to be
if
some that love a turtle
any.
then.
Yeah. Or like we talk like there are certainly some mosquitoes that feed on reptiles, so it's not unheard of for uh insects looking for a blood meal to find, you know, a an an ectothermic host. So it's not a yeah. I don't know. I don't. The short answer is
There's
I'm
got to be
not sure.
somebody.
I didn't look. The
There's got
long
to be one
answer
of them.
is we see this in mosquitoes, so why not fleas? Technically. So thank you for that history lesson. That was very cool.
I hope it was clear.
No, it was clear.
Yeah.
It was clear. So let's talk a little bit about superpowers for the flea.
Yes.
So one is jumping. You're very
Yeah,
interested in
we've
the leggy
barely even
action.
talked about that they're what I kind of feel like what they're known for is the jumping.
So some flea species can jump up to 200 times their body length. If we want to think
Uh,
about that in practical
I know.
terms,
I love when we talk about if I was a human, how tall would I be jumping?
if the flea was a 1.5 meter tall child, which is about 5 feet, like a 5 foot
Okay.
person,
Not much smaller than me.
it could jump about 300 meters into the air, which is around 984 feet, about the height of the Eiffel Tower.
There it is. I was waiting for the Eiffel Tower. I was like, where'd you go, midget? The Eiffel Tower. That is crazy. I mean,
Mhm.
we've talked about before about how physics just affect bugs differently because they're so small. But that
Yeah.
is a wild amount to jump.
Eiffel Tower jump.
Eiffel Tower jump. Here I go. Wow. And it's crazy to think how much strength must be in that little leg. Do they have any
All the
sort of
power.
special mechanism, the way that like what were we talking about? Something that like it latches its leg in a weird place and then it goes when it like unlatches. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was
What was that?
springtails, but
I think that was the leaf hopper, right?
yes, I think it was leafhopper.
So fleas have a spring-loaded mechanism in their hind legs, which are powered by like an elastically rubbery protein. So the muscles compress the protein, and we've talked about it is basically the same as leafhoppers, right? So the muscle compresses the protein, it stores all that energy, and it's kind of notched. And when it's ready to go, it lets that go, and then boing, straight up in the air.
Really taking advantage of that potential energy into
Yeah.
kinetic energy.
All right. So superpowers. We went over
Yeah.
how they jump, which is what you were mostly interested
That's
in,
what
right?
I mean. That's mostly what I know of them, right? I can only be interested in what I know.
We're gonna go with that flattened sort of profile. That's
Oh
certainly a
yeah, he's
superpower,
flat.
right?
Yes. How do I flat Stanley this guy?
I don't know.
He's jumping. He's flat.
Um, the backwards bristles that help him kind of stay attached to hosts, a little bit Velcro-y. I did make one of the superpowers stealth babies because the
Because
eggs
you
and the
never seen
larvae
them.
are just
You don't see them.
around. And of course, disease vector. Oh, we should give him a bubonic plague mask.
As he's jumping through town, he's
Plague doctor? Yeah.
You know, I
What do you
love a
think?
plague mask. We've done plague mask. Who did we do a? No, we didn't do a plague mask, did we?
We
We
did
thought
a
about it with I I think the Devil's Stagecoach, we talked about it very briefly, but
I think this is the time we do the plague mask. Plague
Plague
Doctor
Mask,
Mask.
Plague Mask, Plague Mask.
What do you think?
And again, so close to understanding what happened, and yet so far.
Mhm.
They very nearly got it. And they did.
I like that they put like lavender and mint inside those plague masks because the smell was so rough.
Well,
I
because
can
they thought
identify with that. I
the
can't handle
smell
smells.
is the disease. They thought it was in the air.
Yeah.
And
Is
they
it
were breathing it
miasma?
in. Yeah, the miasma, which strikes again.
I
It's so
love
funny. They're like,
old-timey.
well, we don't know where it comes from, so it must come from nowhere. Like, we don't know where it comes from, but it must come from somewhere. They're just like, yeah, the somewhere is the miasma, and then like stopped investigating after that.
So as you draw here, what are your final thoughts on the flea?
We haven't discussed much is how many things are named Flea. We haven't even sung a
Famous
single
musician Flea.
Red Hot Chili Peppers song. But like there's like I don't know if you watched Mucha Lucha, which was a very brief-lived cartoon show about specifically about like luchador wrestling, right?
Oh,
One of
okay.
those characters was named Flea, and his whole thing was that he was like jumping around, He was nasty and gross. So that was also part of it. But like I feel like both Marvel and DC have like a Flea-esque character. Obviously not popular enough for me to like very quickly be able to spring up their names. Does the Tick have a flea at one point? I feel like the Tick had a flea at one point.
Really? Oh, I don't remember.
I'm remembering him as like he looked exactly like the Tick. It's possible he also was the Tick. I haven't watched the cartoon since it was fresh.
I don't see anything mentioned about a flea in the Tick
In the
animated
Tick.
series. Just, oh, I love Mouse, the Batman ripoff.
Yes,
Mouse is just
yes.
German for bat. Yeah, the flying mouse.
Just the flying mouse. Fledermaus. Here we go. Flea appears. Oh, he's in the comic book. He's
Where's the
not in
comic?
the
Okay.
cartoon. Okay, here we go. I have no information about him except for this single picture on Google Images where he looks exactly like the Tick, but he has a flea on the front of him and he's green.
Oh yeah, yeah. He does look exactly like the Tick. I love
So
the Tick.
now
I gotta go
I'd have
back
to
and
read
read the
I'd have to read
comics.
the 8 issues to find out if he's just the Tick pretending to be the flea.
How many legs out of 6 would you give the flea?
Well, I don't love that he spreads the bubonic plague. As much as we've talked about it.
It's not your favorite part.
I don't love it. I don't think it's a great look for him. We haven't talked about circuses at all. The circus, the flea circus.
Flea circuses?
Do you know much about the flea circus?
I don't. I know that they were a thing. Did they actually contain fleas?
No, they are a lie.
Hmm.
So a flea circus, what it actually is a a music box, how you have to wind it up and it creates a mechanism that's working.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you do that with a stage, essentially music box it, but instead of turning a wheel that goes ding, ding, ding against tongs, it moves like a little cart across the stage, or a little tiny dumbbell goes up and down, or a little thing goes across a wire. So what you're really seeing is the movement of the machinations of this thing.
But there's no little flea in there.
But there's no little flea. But because it's like set up in like a street crowd situation, people can't see that there's no flea because a flea is so small and you're so far away from the thing. And they go, look at my magnificent fleas. I've trained them to do this thing. And there was, if I'm correct, there was a time when they would do it with real fleas, but I can't remember if that's before or after the mechanized thing. I'm not an expert on flea circuses, obviously.
I had no idea, so this is great.
Because, how do you glue a teeny tiny cart to a flea?
Yeah.
Unless you're expecting someone to like come up and like really look and see if there's fleas. But people would be like, hey, look, and they reference it in Jurassic Park, our shared favorite movie, second mention of Jurassic Park in this episode even, where that's how Hammond got his start, was with flea circuses.
Right.
And because it's meant to expose him as a con man. He's always been a con man.
Yeah.
the Jurassic Park was always going to be a flea circus, because what he's really selling is this illusion of the dinosaurs and, blah 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 blah. And what he originally sells is the illusion of fleas in a circus. So there you go.
Fantastic. I had no idea. Thank you, Amanda.
A little media literacy for you today.
Double education here. I mean, I knew that about the Jurassic Park. I just did not really know all the weirdness about flea circuses.
And again, I'm not an expert on it, so I'd have to look up if there ever was a time like where the flea circuses were legitimate and then they found a way to make them easier to do, or if it's the other way around where people were like started demanding real fleas in their circuses. Outfit does a flea wear?
Oh God, I don't even know. They're kind of like reddish brown.
Yeah, they kind of got like a interlocking thing that I assume is part of their slippery slidering through things. Oh, like a tuxedo cat. Producer Derek says tuxedo like a tuxedo cat. We've got so many fancily dressed heroes lately. What does the flea wear in Red Hot Chili Peppers? Was there any Red Hot Chili Pepper songs when we went to that trivia night, Derek? I don't think there were.
Should have been.
Oversight, frankly.
Speaking of Jurassic Park, look at this action figure Mattel made.
Oh my gosh. They know what the people want, and they want Jeff Goldblum lounging.
But it's so poorly made. Look at that face.
It's so poorly made.
It's so bad.
Guys. It's funny to me when they make really crappy models, because I'm like, that people are willing to pay like $300, $400, $500 for like the good ones. They sell out every time.
This is $25, and it should be, because it looks nothing like.
I'm gonna have to repaint it myself to try and make it look like it.
The man himself is endorsing it, of course, but it looks.
He'll
he should be like, this looks
face.
nothing like me. Yeah.
He's
like,
got
if this
2-year-olds
action figure looked like him, I would buy it. I'd buy it and I'd put it in my office because it's funny, but I'm really disappointed that it doesn't. Oh, how many legs did you end up giving the flea?
Oh, sorry, I didn't give any legs. It's got to have at least 2 legs, because of one for each springy leg. I think jumping the Eiffel Tower is very impressive.
One for each jump.
Exactly. The prolificness of them spreading, I gotta give them kudos for that, because like it's clearly working. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's extraneous to their survival strategy. Did help bring through the Renaissance, but only through massive amounts of death, which, not great.
You gotta break a few.
I really gotta weigh some.
Gotta break a few Gregs to make a omelet if anyone watches Succession. But gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet, right?
I'm gonna give them 3 legs, because I do think they've caused a lot of death, and I think that they do still cause a lot of death, because like there's still areas of the world where people are not blessed to live close to medical advancements, and that sucks. So I feel like they've killed enough people that I gotta take away at least half the legs, right? But they are really good at doing what they do, and I think that that's impressive, that they're so good at doing what they do. And we've talked about drinking blood on this podcast. Now it's kind of a crazy strategy to drink someone else's blood as like your whole sustenance source.
Your whole deal. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you do if no one's around? Die.
The poop blood of your parents.
Yeah, the poop blood of your parents is not great.
I'm gonna knock a leg for that.
For sure. Looking at you too, koalas. If I ever judge your legs.
You too, roly-polies, actually. Yeah.
Oh no!
But it's not blood, it's just poop. But they're eating poop.
That's not better.
Coprophagia is the technical term if anyone's looking for.
No, I still love dung beetle despite their poo associations. So,
well, you married dung beetle, you have to.
I truly did. Also, a little bit ironclad beetle. So
a little bit, yeah. Yeah, Cody's like a mix between ironclad and dung beetle.
He did enjoy that episode very much, by the way. That was one that he enjoyed.
Oh, that's good. I really just do the podcast now for Cody. I just want him to approve as a
Someday we'll get
non-bug
him
guy.
on. Maybe that should have been our 100th episode. It was like, Cody, how do you feel about bugs? And he'd be like, I hate bugs. And we'd be like, okay, podcast over.
Roll credits. We're done.
Roll credits. We're out of here.
I think I'm gonna give Flea 2. I'm giving it 2 legs.
Fair. A fair assessment. 1 per leg. Okay, I need now. He just looks like Pee Wee Herman. I need something.
You know what?
To
I'm
make
kind
him...
of okay with that. Does he have the plague doctor? Is it Pee Wee Herman in a plague doctor
He's
mask?
Pee Wee Herman who's been flattened, wearing a plague mask.
I think it's great. It's probably perfect.
Okay, I'm sending it your way. He's boinging along. Hold on, let me give him some very clear I'm boinging lines. I think there's a character in My Hero Academia where her whole power is just that she jumps around.
It's a bit boring power.
I agree. I think she also sings, but I don't know if that's a power or just a personal flavor.
Talent? Yeah.
Yeah. I have dang old Flea in my head all day now. He's gonna Californicate in my mind. Oh, now I can't find him. Oh, it's because I saved him, but I didn't save him as a JPEG, of course. You just know that when another hero team sees this guy coming, they're like, okay, here comes Flea. He's gonna help us, I guess.
A heavy sigh, like, oh, okay.
Glad you're here, dude. I guess we could use more hands.
Welcome. You can be at the craft service table.
Exactly. You can help hostages find a clean exit, please. Get out of here.
All right, I'm gonna take a look. It is ridiculous.
It's very silly. It's a very silly one.
It's very silly.
It's also hard to draw a character jumping, knowing it's gonna have superhero associations, and not just make it a Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man is really...
No, I think this is good. It's got to be a little bit silly. I think fleas are kind of silly looking.
They're kind of silly. I think that he is flat the wrong direction. I'll grant you, but
that's okay.
How would you flatten him?
It'd be really hard to flatten.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Okay, all right. I mean, I guess you could. He'd be more like a Egyptian hieroglyph that way, though.
Yeah.
But even then, that feels like that's kind of the same direction anyway. I really feel like humans only flatten this way. I feel like that's the way.
It's okay. Yeah.
So he does look a little bit like Pee Wee Herman wearing a plague mask,
which is frightening kind of fine with in and of itself. So it's...
honestly, he came boinging at you, and he was like, "Whoa!" And
you're like, "Whoa, Pee Wee, calm down."
The kid I nannied for 10 years, he would always do that Pee Wee Herman. Every time he was like running anywhere, I'd be like, "Oh no, there he go." He's Pee Wee Herman and out. He loved Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee was great. Yeah. Pee Wee was, amazing.
He really found
rest easy, Paul Rubens, man. You did it.
Did you ever watch the Paul Rubens documentary? It was like talked about the split.
It's on the list of things I would like to watch.
Yeah. I think we discussed it before. How it must be so strange to live your life in duality like that.
Yeah. I heard a speech by Elvira, because they were very good friends, and she kind of talked a little bit about that, and she said he was, really wonderful, and
Elvira also
but he had his issues.
That life.
Yeah. Well, she's beautiful. She's still
so gorgeous. I want so badly for Elvira and Dolly Parton to make a movie together where they play like
themselves.
They play themselves, right? Yeah. But they kind of have like a similar sort of like vibe. They could be like twin sisters, where one sister is goth and one sister like went like full like bright shiny, and they love each other so much, but they just don't understand each other's worldview. And then they get like some sort of Freaky Friday situation. I don't know. It'd be so good, and I'd watch it, and I would want their boobies pressed into my face the whole time I watched it. It'd be worth it.
To feel that comfort and love.
Just to be like, it's so warm and cozy in here. Like a weighted blanket for my brain.
Am I gonna have to cut that?
I'm sorry. I cut that bit.
Cassandra Peterson is Elvira's real name, for anyone who...
And
because
she
of
shows
the
up to she does like Comic-Con tours sometimes, and you'll see her like
yes,
out
and
of
horror
her
cons.
drag, like her drag persona. You'll see her where she's only done it like a little bit, and I'm like, wow, the power.
You still know it's her.
Exactly. But like she could like go shopping, and unless you were like a big Elvira person, she
You
would be
leave her alone. Yeah.
pretty
Yeah, you wouldn't
anonymous.
really
Yeah.
notice.
I think that's the way to do celebrity, is to become a caricature, and then you can take that off
Hopefully take
and
it
be
off.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I take off the big wig, I take off the sparkly suit, I put on a hat, big sunglasses, and I'm someone else.
And leave
And I
me
don't
alone.
live in LA, So
Yeah.
there
She
you
lives
go.
here.
Elvira does, yes. Elvira's around here
She's
somewhere.
she's in Portland,
don't-
isn't she?
Yeah.
I don't want to know where she is because I want to leave her alone. If she wanted me to know who she was, she'd
Although
be
I
in
would
Elvira.
I would absolutely lose it if I would
Yeah,
leave
so
her
she's-
alone because I don't do that with celebrities, but I would be
Yeah.
so pumped if she walked by me.
You
Alton
see
Brown walked
celebos?
by me in Portland and I was very excited about it.
Do you see celebos out in New York much?
Yes. Yeah, all the time. And
I was
I
gonna say you
don't
experience
pay
that life more than
attention
I.
to them. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to look away. You have to look away.
Although
Lest they see you.
I'm sure I've mentioned this. I saw Nathan Lane once, and he was wearing the dumbest sunglasses I've ever seen.
He seems like a dumb sunglasses person.
like
yes.
heart-shaped or star-shaped or whatever. And we were walking towards each other, and I just went, Nathan. And he like smiled and nodded at me, and I nodded, and that was it. That was the whole interaction.
That is so cute. I wonder if that's the kind of, I mean, celebrity to celebrity, it's going to change. But like, is that the level of recognition that someone wants, of just like, I recognize you, game recognizes game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop you. I
don't
want you
want
to know
a
that I know who
picture
you are,
or a
though.
conversation, but I see you wearing
Right.
those dumb sunglasses, and I want you to know it.
I see you doing your Elton John impersonation out
Yeah.
here. And I wonder if there's like strategies to those sorts of things where you're like, surely that man who looks kind of like Nathan Lane wouldn't wear such ridiculous glasses,
Right.
because
Yeah.
otherwise people would look at him and recognize it. Like, is there a reverse psychology to it?
I thought about it afterwards, if he wonders somehow if he knows me, because I was
Oh,
so
really?
so casual
So-
about it.
so,
It's
like,
like, do I know
Was that woman my
woman?
PA for 3 years and I now
Yeah.
have no idea?
Was
who
she my
is?
assistant 10 years ago? Who was that?
Exactly.
Time to wrap it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wrap it up.
Well, if you want us to recognize you on the street, it's on the Reddit. Come talk to us. Tell us your favorite bug. Are you excited for 100 episodes? Are you excited to have a little special little Kelly watches a movie? Who
Movie
are we? Are we
watch?
Spooko now? Are we too scary to watch? I don't know. We're Bugs Need Heroes, and you can find us there. And when you do find us, know that we will love you, because bugs are where you find them. Love you. Bye. Bugs Need Heroes was created by Derek Conrad and Kelly Zimmerman. Hosted by Amanda Niday and Kelly Zimmerman. Bugs Need Heroes is produced and edited by Derek Conrad, with some assistance from Chelsea Bodden and a few cats. Character art is by Amanda Niday. Our music is Ladybug Castle by Roll Music. Got a bug question? Email us at bugsneedheroes@gmail.com. Check us out at bugsneedheroes.com, and most of the socials are under Bugs Need Heroes. Thanks for stopping by.
Seems to be dying.
The fleas
You all right,
got me.
Amanda?
You'll
Holy
have to
cow.
restart that whole.
I will restart. I will.
You get some water. Go get some water. You're going to want to get some liquid in your mouth after that coughing.
It was the fleas. The fleas got
Do you have water, Amanda? Go get water.
No, I'm gonna go grab a water real fast. Hold on.
Yeah.
Normally I have one, but I didn't because I was running late.
It's okay. And then she's going to hack up a whole lung over there. Ooh.